Hey, welcome. Today, we're going to dive into something that trips up so many people trying to get a high score on their essays. It's the huge, and I mean huge, difference between how we speak and how we should be writing for an academic paper. Getting this right is really the key, so let's jump right in. So, let me just ask you this straight up. Do you write the way you speak? Come on, be honest. It's a super common habit, we all do it. But believe it or not, that one thing might be what's holding your score back from where it could be. Okay, so the big idea we're talking about today is something called register. All that means is the level of formality you're using. And for essay writing, you absolutely have to use a formal register. It's a whole different ballgame from how you chat with your friends. So here's our game plan. We're going to walk through 6 common traps that make your writing sound way too casual. And for each one, I'm going to show you the pro-level fix that will make your writing sound much more academic. So let's kick things off with section 1, the spoken versus written trap. The difference is actually pretty simple. When we speak, it's all off the cuff, right? We have very little time to plan. Academic writing, it's the complete opposite. It's all about careful planning and structure. Okay, now take a good look at this, because this chart really says it all. Over on the left, you've got spoken language. Spontaneous, short, simple. That's your everyday conversation. Now look at the right. Planned, longer, more complex. That's the world of academic writing. You see? You just can't use the rulebook from the left side and expect to win the game on the right. All right, now that we get the basic problem, let's get into our first practical tool in section 2, building complex sentences. Honestly, this is your first big-ticket item for a higher score. When you move away from those short, simple sentences into longer, more connected ones, it immediately tells the examiner that you know what you're doing. And boom, here's a perfect example. On the left, you've got 2 simple thoughts, exactly how you'd say it out loud. But check out the right. A Band 7 writer connects those ideas into one sophisticated sentence using although. It's not just about making the sentence longer. It's about showing you understand the complex relationship between the ideas, the big budget versus the public benefit. All right, on to section 3, the fronting fallacy. Okay, this next one is a really fascinating one because it's a habit we all have when we talk. We do it to add a little drama or emphasis, but it's a huge no-no in formal writing. So what on earth is fronting? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. You basically grab a piece of the sentence that usually sits at the end and you shove it right to the front. Why? For drama, to put a big flashing spotlight on it. We do it constantly without even thinking about it. So check this out. Here's a totally normal sentence you'd hear someone say. I just can't stand people like that. The object, people like that, is right at the end where it's supposed to be. No surprises here. But now, listen to this. People like that, I just can't stand. You see what happened? We fronted the object. It sounds totally fine when you say it, right? It adds that extra punch. But here's the thing. In your essay, that structure screams informal. It's one of those speech habits you just have to drop for academic writing. Next up, section 4, forbidden forms and easy fixes. Let's talk about some quick wins. These are some of the easiest points you can pick up because they're just small technical mistakes that are dead giveaways of an informal spoken style. Let's find them and fix them. Okay, let's walk through these. The first 3 are super simple. Contractions like I'm and aren't are for talking, not for formal writing. So always write them out in full. Now that last one, that's a classic grammar trap. When you use neither/nor with 2 single things, the verb has to be singular too. So it's is useful. I know, your ear might fight you on it, but trust me, that's the correct formal structure. Let's move on to a big one in section 5, mastering impersonal tone. Using I makes your argument sound like it's just your personal opinion, not a well-reasoned point. And using you is like you're having a casual chat with the examiner, which is way too informal. Academic writing should sound objective. So how do you get rid of I and you without making your sentences sound all twisted and weird? Well, here are 4 really practical tools you can use. You can use general words like people or the more formal word one, or you can even just rearrange the sentence so you don't need the pronoun at all. And here's a perfect example of rule number 2 in action. You may think is super direct, really conversational, but just by swapping you for one, the whole sentence just levels up. It feels more formal, more objective. It's such a small tweak, but it makes a huge difference to the overall tone of your essay. And for our final section, number 6, we're talking about the passive voice. Now, I know what you might be thinking.
A lot of people are kind of scared of the passive voice. But let me tell you, in academic writing, it's not a mistake. It's a secret weapon for getting that formal, impersonal tone we've been aiming for. This right here shows you exactly why it's so powerful. The active sentence focuses on we, but who is we? We don't actually know who did the painting. The passive voice just solves that problem beautifully. It puts the focus where it belongs, on the paintings themselves. It's more objective and, frankly, more accurate. But, and this is a big but, you have to be careful. Here's a super important warning. Do not overuse this. If your whole essay is written in the passive voice, it's going to sound really clunky and weird. Think of it like a powerful spice. A little goes a long way. Variety is always the key.
All right, so let's put it all together. Here's your new formal writing toolkit. Every single one of these is a concrete step you can take to move away from sounding like you're talking and start writing in the formal, analytical way that gets top marks.
And that's a wrap. So I want to leave you with a question to think about for your own work. Take a look at this list again. Which one of these informal speech habits do you think is your biggest hurdle? Seriously, figuring that out is the very first step to mastering this whole academic register thing.